Hey guys, Unfair here. Welcome back to another episode of Cutting Room Floor.
Lad, you there?
Quinn? Where are you?
Getting me arse out of Dodge. Burke's had enough, and he's gunning for you. And I don't intend on being caught in the bloody crossfire. But listen, that trick you pulled with the gas, fucking brilliant work that was. Head to me shop. I left you a thing or two so you can give him hell. I'd like to say we'd meet again over a pint sometime, but, well, Godspeed, mate.
Now, there's actually a lot of guys around here. There's some up on a balcony right here that can almost see us right now. So what I'm going to do is grab some grenades. And we should be able to take a lot of these guys out if we have to run into them.
I've got a... Stop! I see you! Trouble bastard! I need a visual! Someone hiding over there.
Whoops. A couple guys right there.
Frag 'em! Frag it!
We really only need to go one hallway over. Remember the vent we went down to get to Quinn's shop before.
Keep going.
Looks like there's still a few guys down here. Maybe I can clear out the rest with one more grenade.
I need cover!
Nah, it doesn't really look like they're going down. Let's go around the back way.
Where are you going? I'm right here!
There are some mines in this hallway here. Unfortunately, at this point in the game, we don't have anything we can use them for. We're going to be trying to sneak past all the guys up until Burke. The grate should be right up here. And it looks like we already gassed most of the guys that would be down this hallway, so that's pretty great for us. After we ransack his shop, we should have more than enough supplies to take on Burke. They give you pretty much everything you want at this point. So we have two safes here, and I think if we hadn't assassinated that person that was the test subject earlier, down in the secret lab, then we would have only gotten one of these. We have so many practice points, I'm just going to upgrade our carrying skills.
In some ways, the two of us are probably quite similar. But I question your foresight, your courage to make difficult decisions.
And there's one more little secret area back here. Gives us a lot of extra supplies. And a little bit more information about Quinn. Now I'm going to put the silencer on the sniper rifle. Or maybe not, apparently this one doesn't take a silencer. I guess it's going to go on the combat rifle since it's the only thing I can use it on. And there is a target leading system for our tranq rifle here. But since I'm not trying to be non-lethal, I don't really care about that. It just takes so much longer to get a bead on somebody when you're using a tranq rifle. The sniper rifle is just point and shoot, you don't have to try and compensate for anything. And it looks like they gave us the upgrade for the combat rifle as well. When you turn it on, you don't really have to aim. The bullets kind of curve toward your target. It's a little bit interesting, I don't really use it all that much though. And we won't need it for this upcoming fight. Oh, looks like we don't have high enough hacking for that yet. Let's go ahead and upgrade that real quick. And that is a pretty hard hack too, so I'm going to grab all the stealth I can. That should give us a pretty good chance of getting in here successfully. Even with good hacking, it takes a long time to capture these high-level nodes.
Access granted.
There we go, no problem. So, he's actually the guy, it looks like, that hacked our clearance for us, and made us Corporal Alan Tyler. So he's a lot more of a hacker than he let on. Like Jensen said earlier when he modified that eye.
Nothing you've done here will make a difference. You know, Jensen. You know how human nature is.
I like how Burke continually taunts you throughout this section. He says some interesting stuff too, and it kind of depends on how you played the game. If you're lethal, he might compare you to himself. Or he might call you a sissy if you've been taking down people non-lethally. There's a pretty wide range of things he says. Now, our next goal is to kill Burke. And that's going to be a little bit challenging. He has quite a few guys around him.
Someone hiding over there?
And he's also a little ways away in another loading bay. We're going to backtrack to get to him exactly the same way we came into the base originally.
Lieutenant Commander's mutiny, for lack of a better word, surprised me. I didn't think she had it in her. Makes me think perhaps other forces were at work.
I've got a possibility. Get over there and confirm. Intruder! There!
Alright, all those guys should converge on that location and let us sneak out on this side. At least that's what I'm hoping. We should be fairly safe from here on out. We're gonna go up top and completely avoid all the guys in turrets.
Anyone got him?
Nope, nobody's got me.
Are you sure you're
That's
sure
enough,
that
we lost
guy's
him. If he
so-
shows again, we make sure. Everyone's down alert! I won't hit him if he shows himself again. All clear.
The nice thing about the turrets in this section is that they do automatically disable themselves once you've beaten Burke. So as long as you can avoid him till that point, you don't have anything to worry about.
Stop! I see you!
I don't know how those guys see you when you're so high up. It's a little bit bogus in my opinion.
Contact confirmed.
Well, you made it. I'm torn between admiration and pity. You've condemned me for my actions, Jensen. But look at the lengths you've gone to find one woman. Wasted potential. Although from what I've heard, I suspect you'll still be of use to me dead.
Alright, so we got another Praxis kit. And there's some invisible snipers, so I'm gonna grab the smart vision. Now, there's a big box guard out there, so let's get rid of him first. And at this point, I'm just gonna go full-on lethal, using my sniper rifle.
How far do you think Dr. Reed would go for her research? I think you'd be surprised, Jensen. You're an aggressive warrior, Jensen. It's a shame you're so undisciplined and idealistic.
Well, that smoke and stuff makes it a little hard to see these snipers.
So much righteous anger. Judge, jury, and executioner, eh, Jensen? Small-minded fool.
Now there should be a couple more guys over here somewhere. I don't see them though. They may be on the other side of that shipping container. The radar says they're straight across the way, so let's go see if we can get the drop on them.
I'm curious. How far do you think Dr. Reed would go for her research? I think you'd be surprised, Jensen.
Now, there should be two guys left. One heavy on the roof, right there. And Burke himself.
You've earned your shot, Jensen. Come on. Don't keep me waiting.
Don't see Burke. He's usually in that control room there. There he is.
It sounds like your struggles are almost over, Bratan. Is Burke dead?
I'm standing, he's not.
Good. With Burke out of the picture, there's a power vacuum I can take advantage of. Return to loading bay 2. The doors between here and the docking platform will be opened for you.
Last time I passed through there, Burke's men were still waiting for me.
Not anymore. Burke has just ordered them away.
Great. Except I came here looking for Megan Reed, Bratan. I can't leave without knowing.
There is a boat heading toward our location as we speak. If you hurry, you can be on it.
And I think this guy up here actually has the code for this computer. Oh, never mind. I guess it doesn't take a password at all. I think that code is just for the door to get in here. Now this email is kind of interesting and confusing at the same time. It only mentions Omega, which at this point in the DLC you would assume to be Moonbase Omega. However, it does mention Hengsha, so I think the Interlude is the ship that we take out of here. And I think the Omega in this case actually refers to Omega Ranch, which is the place we show up next in the actual game. Of course I could be wrong, and the Interlude could be a spaceship. I'm gonna go with Occam's razor on this one though. It's also interesting that the email is from Father D, which is Hugh Darrow. Remember the British guy that we met in CRF's office? With the beard and the grey hair. His email is requesting more of these augmented prisoners. And all the guys are cleared out of here now, so we don't even have to worry about them.
Bratan,
Quinn?
I'm afraid our good friend Quinn met with an unfortunate incident during all the commotion and is no longer with us.
Your voice. It was you this whole time. Who are you?
For the moment, I'm between identities. I apologize for the duplicity, but it was a necessary precaution. You had to be kept in the dark.
And Keitner? Did she know?
Commander Keitner's perception was much like yours. Shrouded. She saw what she needed to see, and was told what she needed to hear in order for me to complete the mission.
So we were both pawns. Except she's dead and I'm not. So where does that leave me in your grand design?
We are all pawns in someone else's grand design, Mr. Jensen. But that doesn't make Natanya's death any less tragic. Your actions ensured her sacrifice was not made in vain, however. Dr. Kavanagh made it out safely, and is on her way to the rendezvous site. She will expose the truth in due time.
And the prisoners?
Ah yes, the prisoners. With Kavanagh out, it's only a matter of time before this base makes international headlines. Until that time, however, I cannot say what Bell Tower will do next. I only know that a cornered and desperate bull is a very dangerous beast. We mustn't stay here much longer, Mr. Jensen, if we hope to get you away from this base.
I still have questions, Quinn, and I want answers. Real answers, no more bullshit.
You really want to waste time chatting, Bratan? Fine. I will answer what I can, but keep in mind you have a boat to catch.
Bell Tower probably has a battalion on its way to clean up this mess. How do you plan on keeping what we did here a secret?
I'm delighted to say that Burke did most of the damage control for us. After requesting the profile search on you, he never explained why he needed it. I believe he wanted to keep control of you to himself. Since that time, we've been monitoring all incoming and outgoing communications, and the lockdown allowed me to discreetly install a tunneler, rerouting the base's network traffic. By the time Bell Tower realizes something is wrong, it'll already be too late.
What about the rest of the base personnel?
Most of them think Burke is still in command. Technically, orders continue to be issued in his name, but I'm the one making the calls. I've also taken the liberty of cordoning off this sector of the base. For the moment, at least, we're safe.
And that was why the Renault guys left in the hangar when we ran back out.
Keitner said she had been approached by an agent from Interpol. It was you, wasn't it?
Very astute. When I learned of Commander Keitner's suspicions and insubordinate behavior towards Burke, I saw an opportunity. Pretending to be an agent of Interpol seemed the best way to gain her trust.
You mean you lied? So who do you work for?
A loose network of independent operatives, agents of conversion and equilibrium, who seek to expose corruption and assure humanity's natural progress. In truth, we are not affiliated with any global organization. But then, neither is our enemy, officially.
Your enemy? You're not just talking about Bell Tower anymore, are you? You're talking about...
The men and women who pull Bell Tower strings. The same men and women who ordered them to kidnap Megan Reed.
Basically, he's working for an organization that is anti-Illuminati. And we can use pheromones here, but it doesn't matter what option we pick.
Mr. Jensen, allow me to stop you there, before you say anything that might embarrass us both.
What?
Please. I detected your Cassie augmentation the moment you started to analyze my facial movement for pattern sequencing.
But back in your workshop, you...
All part of the game. Think nothing of it. As much as I enjoyed your clumsy attempts at persuasion the first time around, we'll just move on from here, now. Pretending you managed to convince me to be more forthcoming with my words. What is it you hope to learn?
Something more tangible than a flowery speech about idealism.
Because I admire your tenacity, I will attempt to satisfy your curiosity. But only if you'll humor me for a moment and answer a question of my own.
Sounds fair.
In Roman mythology, Janus was a god depicted as having two heads, each gazing in the opposite direction, one looking eastward, the other west. Symbolically, this meant many things to the Romans, but I'm more curious as to what it might mean to you.
And what you answer here doesn't matter either. The only thing it affects is the very first line of his response.
Seeing into the past and the present. The beginning and the end. Alpha and Omega.
I believe you and I have more in common than you would like to admit. Technically, I suppose there is no incorrect answer. Theologians and philosophers have debated the origin and meaning of Janus for millennia. But in time, that name may take on new meaning for you.
Why? What are you getting at?
While the term invisible war has lost much of its significance due to misappropriation, I assure you, there has never been a better way to describe what is happening in the world. The lives of millions are being decided without a drop of blood ever spilt, but the casualties remain the same. Myself and others are fighting a never-ending battle against forces that seek absolute dominion over our fates.
You're telling me the people running Bell Tower want to rule the world?
Bell Tower Associates is no more than a proxy. Puppets on a global stage. The true enemy hides in shadows. The disembodied hands that pull the strings of Bell Tower and others. This is neither the time nor the place to go into detail, but everything you've witnessed here today is in direct correlation with Illuminati interests.
Roman gods and Illuminati. Wonderful.
You asked for clarity, and I'm being as honest as I can. Whether you choose to acknowledge them or not, lines are being drawn. Most will never be lucky enough to pick a side, but a time will come when you will have to. I have chosen mine.
The Illuminati, Bob Page and Morgan Everett trying to run the world.
Alright. Where's Megan?
I don't know for certain. But what I do know is that earlier today, Burke issued orders to have a large group of detainees transferred off this base. Supposedly, they will be assisting at another black site facility.
Kavanaugh said this was just the factory floor. You're sure Megan is at this other facility?
Nothing is ever certain in life, Mr. Jensen. But it is the best chance you have. Unfortunately, the cargo ship carrying the prisoners has already set sail. But I took the liberty to send out an urgent dispatch in Burke's name, ordering the ship's captain to hold position until one more detainee could be flown on board. In stasis. A helicopter is en route to pick you up.
Wait a second. You want me to get inside another stasis pod? Last time I got in one of those things, it didn't go so well.
I know it's far from ideal, but frankly, your options are quite limited. Although, I suppose you could try swimming there.
Better be the right fucking boat this time. Because I don't feel like coming back here anytime soon.
Don't worry, mate. It'll be grand. Besides, I thought you Americans liked riding off into the sunset.
I like how he switches to Irish there at the very end.
It's done. Exactly as you instructed.
And yet you sound disappointed. You think we should have handled this differently?
I think we had a valuable asset in our hands, and we're letting him slip away. He could have been very useful in the coming storm.
A hand does not need to be clenched tightly to maintain its hold on someone. Jensen carries too much baggage right now. His obsession with Reed only serves to distract him.
We could have told him the truth.
He must discover it by himself. And when he does, if you have followed my instructions precisely, we will know how to find him.
Assuming he lives that long.
So that's the end of The Missing Link. Next episode, we'll transition right back into the main game. This story fits in nicely, and I'll pick up right where we left off.